Hello YouTube. My name is Big Brother, or you can also call me Daniel. I'm just a random YouTuber, nothing special. And what I want to do today is I want to introduce you to the Witcher games, and I also like to talk about The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings, which has been released about 2 weeks ago. And I will go into detail about the changes that have been made over the first one, and give you a brief review of it. I could talk for 5 minutes straight about how awesome this box is and the content that's inside. This box really puts other games to shame, and other companies should take a look and learn from that, because that is awesome. So just in case you don't know what The Witcher actually is, it's a series of novels that was released in the mid to late 90s by a guy named Sapkowski. He's a writer. But all of this never left the original country, which is Poland in Europe. Until, a small group of ambitious programmers decided, hey, we could make a video game out of The Witcher. At first I wasn't really happy with The Witcher 2, because when I started playing it, within the first few hours I've died probably more often than I ever did in the first game. It was really frustrating to see that a regular bunch of bandits is deadlier than any of the bosses from the first game. Geralt doesn't auto-parry itself anymore, there are no fighting styles anymore. The combat as a whole is difficult in general, and I guess CD Projekt decided to spice this up, because the overall feedback over the internet was that the combat in Witcher 1 was way too easy, and so they decided to spice this up a bit. At certain points you just have to die numerous times before you can have that one lucky punch, in order to get over that part of the game. Sadly, crafting Witcher 2 is rather pointless, because really, whenever you have the resources and ingredients to craft an item, you already have better equipment, or what's even worse, you craft an item and a moment later you find something that's even more powerful. So I wouldn't bother with it. But what they did with the items themselves, now the items have sockets and they have stats. Now, in Witcher 1 you had like a sword and armor. Damage and protection mainly came from the skills, which have also been majorly revamped. And so in Witcher 2 the items have stats now. They have armor class, weapon damage, and all sorts of extras, and you can pimp your items with runes, oils and other stuff. Yeah, speaking of skills, the character evolution in The Witcher 2 is also different. You just have a small stack of skills. At first you have to max them out first, and then 3 branches will open up. There's a mage one, alchemy one, and one for swords fighting. And you are not limited to just one of them, you can expand in all 3 of these. And the skills that are available in there are all quite useful. It's working like a skill tree, because you have to unlock certain skills first before you can skill them. So a complaint that I've read multiple times is that the Witcher 2 game is shorter than the first one. It only has 3 chapters, and the third one is quite short, and the prologue is ridiculously short. The first one had 5 chapters, if I recall that right. So the game is definitely shorter. But I think the reason for that is because there is so much more content that you will only see if you go a specific way. And if you play it only 1 or 2 times, I think a good portion of the content you will just never see. The thing when a key lights up on your screen, you have to press that key in order to succeed. Witcher 2 has that also. It usually is used in combat and game bosses, but it's also used in box fighting, so they've kind of changed that too. And I'm not really a friend of quick time events, because it kind of takes the game out of the game and turns it into a movie. But it's not as massive or annoying enough that I would say it's a quick time event game. That's certainly not the case. Now here's a fun fact. I've already told you about The Witcher being a Polish phenomenon. Tris Marigold has actually made it cover on the Playboy magazine. Isn't that weird? I've never been a fan of Tris in the first Witcher game, but looking at that cover, I really got to say, Przeklęty, ona jest gorąca. So what's my final verdict on The Witcher 2? Well, I would say it's a blast of a ride. If you're standing in your game store in front of all those Call of Duties and Gears of Wars, and you don't know what to buy, just say, buy The Witcher.